Hello, everyone, and welcome to Empathic Chronicles. I'm your host, Tiffany Elise, and today we're diving into a topic that affects so many of us, myself included, imposter syndrome. Have you ever felt like a fraud, like you're just waiting to be found out? If so, you're not alone, and this episode is for you. Imposter syndrome is that about why I couldn't get to that or accomplish that, and it's just a rat race. The superwoman or superman pushes themselves to work harder to prove that they're not imposters. That is totally me. And the natural genius believes they need to be a natural talent and hence feel like completely crushed when they struggle. So whether you're a perfectionist, a superwoman or superman, the natural genius, or how about the soloist? So the soloist prefers to work alone and rejects help to prove their worth. So essentially they go as far as they can to prove that they, are who they are. And the expert, I feel like I relate to the expert. The expert feels they need to know everything and fears being exposed as inexperienced or unknowledgeable. I think for me, I've experienced in my career where I thought that I had everything planned out right and so perfect, only to feel that I didn't. And that imposter syndrome feeling kicks in very much so. Now, there are many causes and triggers for imposter syndrome. You guessed it, societal pressures, family expectations, and personal beliefs, they can all play a role. So many things can impact. It's especially common among women and minorities. They may feel additional pressure to prove themselves where they're either underrepresented or misrepresented. So very common among women and minorities. But imposter syndrome doesn't just impact our self-esteem. It can also take a toll on our mental health. So I know imposter syndrome causes me a lot of anxiety and fear. And I know that it often leads to overall depression or stress, anxiety. Now, according to studies, I did a little research, a significant percentage of high achieving individuals, so if you're a high functioning person, experience imposter syndrome at some point in their careers. So whether it's now, whether it's been in the past, you've experienced it somehow. So how can we cope with imposter syndrome, right? So here are a few strategies that have helped me and others. First, practice self-compassion. I can't agree more about this. We have to be kind to ourselves. We are so hard on ourselves with the expectation that we need to meet some goal or some level of achievement. And a lot of the times it's just unrealistic. Be kind to yourself. Recognize that everyone makes mistakes and has moments of doubt. I know I do, and it's completely normal, and it doesn't make you any less of the person that you are or the badass that you are. Second, I think I'm learning how to do this. And so if you know how to do this really, really well, reach out to me and give me some recommendations. But the second thing is to challenge your negative thoughts. This one's a good one. Like when you catch yourself thinking that you're not good enough, remind yourself of your achievements and the positive feedback you've received. So often when I'm working and trying to get a deadline met, I beat myself up about it so much if it doesn't go the way that I planned. And it's like, there's nothing wrong. It's just the fact that you just don't believe that you're good enough, and it takes a toll on you. But yeah, definitely challenge your negative thoughts. That's a big one and something that I try to practice daily. Third, seek support from people. I can't tell you enough, like reach out for help. I know it's harder and I know it's easier said than done, but it's so important, especially in today's society. We have to lean on each other and we have to be there for one another. So seek support from either your mentor, your peers, or even a therapist. I've been very open about my therapy journey. I've been in and out of therapy for most of my life. It has been extremely helpful. I've done different kinds of therapy, like cognitive behavioral therapy. What's the other one? EMDR therapy. That one was good. That's for PTSD and it's really, really cool. But anyway, reach out for help and don't feel bad. Don't feel shame about reaching out for help. The person that reaches out for help is ultimately the strongest person because you want to see the other side. You want to help yourself. You want to get through it. Okay. And talking about your feelings, that can help you gain perspective and reassurance. Fourth, okay, I definitely don't do this enough, and I'm sure you can relate. Celebrate your successes, no matter how small. Whether it's a milestone on a project or something that you reached in your life, whether it be a career, education, financial gain, anything like that, acknowledge your hard work. And the effort that you put into achieving your goals, acknowledge that, give that credit. You're worth it. And finally, like I said, remember that it's okay to ask for help, okay? Accepting help from other people doesn't make you less competent or capable. I hate the perspective of like, oh, if you ask for help, you're weak. Oh, if you ask for help, that means that you can't handle it on your own. No, it does not. It's so much more about trying to empower your circle and get really, really good feedback about something that can help you, something that you maybe hadn't thought about before, a new technique that you maybe hadn't been exposed to before that could help you cognitively or something of that nature. So definitely know that asking for help doesn't make you anything less. I remember having imposter syndrome a lot as a kid, and I didn't even know what it was. But now that I know what it is, thinking back, like I had imposter syndrome a lot as a kid, especially when it came to taking care of my family, helping my mom with my sister, and just constantly being in a state of fight or flight. Like whether I was, taking care of someone or cleaning or, doing my own homework for school, I struggled a lot with feeling like what I do or what I did wasn't enough. Now, mind you, it doesn't help when the person that you're perhaps doing the things for or whatever has their own opinion about you, but it's even worse when you yourself believe that and more. That's completely contradictory to who you are. And I think that is very important to recognize because imposter syndrome can also be provoked by someone. Someone can make you feel a certain way. And so just being able to recognize the two and differentiate is huge. I wish I had someone who can be on the show today to share their story and share their insights on why imposter syndrome is so prevalent and just some effective ways to combat it. Another one that's big is comparing yourself to others. Like, stop doing it. And stop comparing yourself to others because at the end of the day, they're not you and you're not them. Okay. And the way that you visualize success is not the same that they may realize success. So always picture positive outcomes in challenging situations. Never feel like you are anything less competent or able to succeed and feel confident. Perfectionism is crazy. I mean, it's something that's like so real and that many of us do. I know I do it. But accept that perfection is unattainable and focus on doing your best. And of course, with those standards, set realistic standards for yourself and be kind when you fall short. Okay. Now, self-care has been huge and it is a big part of coming full circle with imposter syndrome. Take care of your physical, emotional, and mental well-being. Engage in activities that bring you joy and relaxation. I've already said this many times, but ask for help. Don't compare yourself to other people. Keep a record of your successes. Like, you know how you're supposed to like journal when things are going bad or when you need to vent? Why can't we journal about the good things too? Like, make a journal of your achievements, positive feedback, compliments. I know at work, I like to put Post-its around my monitor, and they're affirmations and they're reminders to me so that when I have moments of frustration or I have moments of doubt, I'm able to look at those things and remind myself that, okay, hold on, it's okay. I might just be having a bad moment. It may just be something that I need to circle back from. Whatever the case may be, it's important. Seeking feedback and support is huge. I didn't learn this until I was well into my career, but I didn't realize how much it could help me out personally too. Ask for constructive feedback. So if, you do a project or, you're working on something and you can receive or ask for constructive feedback, whether positive, negative, or in between from mentors, peers, or just like colleagues, that is super powerful because you can use this feedback to improve your skills and gain confidence. And so that kind of goes with focusing on learning and growing. If you have a growth mindset, you will view challenges as opportunities to learn and grow versus like roadblocks or, the inability to move forward. Recognize everyone has areas where they can improve, and that's just a part of the journey. And visualize your success. So as you're focusing on learning and growing, what does that end goal look like? Imposter syndrome can take that away from you and make you feel like you are not worthy and you are not capable of succeeding. But visualize that success anyway. Use visualization techniques. You could write it on a whiteboard. You can write it on, like I said, Post-its, journaling, but use those techniques to imagine yourself succeeding and feeling confident, right? So the outcomes that you set for yourself to be successful, to be milestones, to be wins, picture those positive outcomes in your head in challenging situations. So especially when things get tough, that's the moment when you want to definitely picture those positive outcomes in challenging situations. So imposter syndrome is, let me tell you, it involves a combination. Overcoming imposter syndrome. It involves a combination of, let's see, what have we talked about today? Self-awareness, cognitive restructuring, and practical strategies to build confidence and resilience. I think that is so important. I know I struggled with it most of my childhood and then growing up into an adult, but recognize and acknowledge it. I think that's one of the first things that I said. It's very common. Imposter syndrome is very common, and many successful people experience it. Acknowledge your feelings and identify them as imposter syndrome than a true reflection of your abilities. So you can even tell when you're journaling, depending on, how you express your feelings, you can identify, oh, this is me being an imposter versus this is me being a true reflection of your abilities. And talk about it. Like I said, share your feelings, but opening up alone can help you realize that you're not alone and that others have similar experiences. So very, very important stuff. Now, This episode I wanted to make for so long because I struggle with it myself. I struggle with imposter syndrome, and I want to get real and I want to share stories with you all. And this just felt right to share about all things imposter syndrome because I feel like it is so normal and we need to normalize the stigma. So, yeah. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in to Empathic Chronicles. If you have questions or stories to share, please reach out on social media, or you can also send me a message at Empathic Chronicles. Don't forget to follow Empathic Chronicles on Instagram, leave a review, and join us next week for another insightful episode. Okay, so thank you for joining. Thanks for listening. Take care, everyone. This is Tiffany Elise signing off. Have a wonderful week.